Hello and welcome back to more Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, where last time we began our next trial of the game, in which Professor Layton showed up to save the day, because he can just do everything, apparently. And today, we are going to be hopefully finishing this trial, which is the Fire Witch. Well, then we will now continue with the trial of Espella Cantabella. Oh boy. A group of witnesses huddling up before a joint testimony in a witch trial. You can't make this stuff up. Inquisitor Barnum, if I may ask you a question. Yes, my lord. We now have 5 witnesses on the stand, so I must ask. Why was this obnoxious-looking man left out of your initial group of witnesses?
Baldy's right, Barnum. That's just cold-blooded.
There is but one reason, my lord. I did not know this witness even existed.
Eh?
You, sir, failed to come forward. When we were asking for witnesses for this very trial, you were nowhere to be seen.
That's because I didn't hear a peep about it. I ain't usually around at night, except for maybe at Rogue's Tavern.
So you're basically telling us that you were up all night drinking.
Anyway, it's all water under the bridge now, so as far as I'm concerned, just leave the rest to yours truly. Ha 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 ha!
During the last interrogation, the defender brought forth some surprising proof. Namely, that there was little possibility the accused could have used magic. I've never heard such a claim. It must be this doing of this logic.
What rubbish. Logic, you say? I ain't got a clue what that is. But I do know that this bare bread breaking baker ought to head back to the bakery.
Eloquently said.
Oi, Gramps, give me and me partners over here a chance to speak. You want to know how this witch managed to be holding that scepter, don't ya?
Oh, when you say Gramps, you wouldn't mean me, would you?
I fail to see anyone else making such a description.
Well, we'll show you she's a witch.
I'll bet Snowy's beautiful white coat on it. And guard! Alright, team, let's do this. Witnesses!
Oh, great. They get a chance to... So, in theory, there shouldn't be any contradictions, right? Because they can all collaborate their stories and make sure they all match. Yeah, no, that's not gonna be how this works. Yes, well, let us proceed with the testimonies. Why do I feel like I totally lost control of the situation? I don't think you were ever in control of the situation. Witness testimony. The mystery of the witch's scepter. It's clear as day, Espella is a witch. We're not backing down here. You're not backing down because you're the actual witch.
When she dropped the lantern, the scepter was not yet in her hands. This scepter must have been hidden by magic and carried on her back. The rogues grabbed her by the hand that held the lantern, so she must have had another way of holding the scepter. That's easy, the girl just put the bucket down on the ground and picked up the witch's No, because if it was on the ground, it would have a bunch of mud on it, because it was raining earlier. Wow, you even huddled up to make sure there were no contradictions, and yet you still failed catastrophically. If that is the case, then it must have been possible for the accused to have used magic. Yeah, but it's not possible. No. Nice try. This is bad. Thanks to this guy, now all the witnesses seem extra determined to pin this thing on Espella. Each harbor a shared anger towards witches and magic. Such is the cause of their strong desire to see a guilty verdict pass as quickly as possible. However, such confidence is undoubtedly bound to cloud their better judgment and thinking. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think these guys are mean any real harm, but they're all riled up. They don't even realize how distorted their idea of what happened tonight has become. At least that's how it seems.
This is good, Professor. The witnesses aren't thinking straight. They're completely blind to the truth.
We've heard more from Luke and Layton during this trial than from Maya. Sir Baker, Sir Wright. Yes. You do not appear to be a mere simple baker, that much is clear. On the other hand, you are no ordinary defender either. Never before has a defender managed to clash and do battle with me here on this battlefield as an equal. Sir Blue Knight, this trial has not yet been decided. If there is any doubt in your interrogation, I will not hesitate to strike your case down where it stands. I understand. Defender, please begin your interrogation. Well, this is an easy one. There's a clear contradiction because they just didn't care at all. Okay, well, let's head over to where some guy says, oh, well, she just put it back in the ground. No, because if she did that, there would be mud all over it. But there isn't. I'm afraid what really happened is not quite so simple.
What? What you talking about?
It had only just stopped raining moments before the crime took place. As a result, the ground was very muddy. If Miss Cantabella really placed the bucket on the ground like you claimed she did, then it should be caked with mud just like the lantern was after it fell.
Ha!
Well, I say that clears up your muddy testimony, wouldn't you?
Hey, Barnum.
What?
You're just gonna sit there looking pretty? Come on, give me a hand here.
Flattery will get you nowhere, witness, other than perhaps to the dungeon. At any rate, There is but one question we ought to ask. Why is there no mud on that bucket? To the witness with the goat, may I ask you a question?
Huh? Are you talking to us?
Indeed, you admitted to the court that you returned home with the milk bucket. Illegally, I must add.
My oh my, such harsh words, Inquisitor.
When you took the bucket home, you must have simply wiped the mud from the bucket, is that correct?
You know, now that you mention,
Oh, come on. No way, don't tell me.
that milk bucket, that's right, I remember it now. I don't know if what was on the bucket was mud, exactly, but it certainly was dirty. Before taking it inside with me, I remember wiping it clean with
Well, ain't that just dandly convenient? Are you kidding me? Everyone just leaves out all these details.
exceptional work, Inquisitor Barnum.
Right, it all makes perfect sense. Yeah, wouldn't that be so convenient for you, Kira?
I knew that sword wasn't just for show, Barnum. You slice his argument in two.
Objection!
Witness, Miss Mary,
What is it?
you're absolutely sure there was mud stuck to this milk bucket?
Oh my. Well, it should be told, I don't remember whether it was mud exactly, but I do remember cleaning the bucket off when I got home.
It would seem the defense has failed to disprove the witness's claims. Of that we can be certain.
Ha, that'll teach you, Bluey.
Bluey.
You got that right. Do me a favor, will you, Gramps? I want to change testimony just to find you a bit.
Oh, please dig yourself a deeper hole. I will allow it only if the witness refrains from name calling in the future.
You got it, my lord. Well, all this court mumbo jumbo's left me thirstier than a dog in a desert.
No, go. Okay, cool it, buddy. Are you sure drinking more is gonna help your testimony? I think it's gonna do the opposite.
That witch there was holding the stick. I even heard her say the incantation thingy. That right?
Okay, that's... Could you be more vague? Be specific. We need as many specifics as possible.
Hold it!
But no one knows for sure Miss Cantabella dropped the mud bucket on the ground. Because there's no mud on it. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, we went over this already. We know the goat lady wiped off all the mud.
Objection!
However, Miss Mary doesn't clearly remember whether or not it was mud that was stuck on the bucket.
We really don't remember, but maybe... I guess maybe there was mud on it. I mean, she couldn't hold the scepter without putting the bucket on the ground.
But, Miss Mary, please give a definitive answer. Please stop flip-flopping all over the place.
Y'all done, Bluey? Talk all you want, cause it ain't gonna help ya, you see. The five of us, we saw what that witch went and did. We saw it clear as...
Wait. Oh, hold it. Oh, hey there, friend. Hey, something seems a little amiss here, buddy. And again, I'd like to point out, you realize what this is, right? To anybody watching this video who loves Apollo Justice, you realize what this is, right? This is Perceive, except done a million times better. Because it's the same damn thing. You as the player, have to pay attention to all the witnesses and look for something that's off about them. Look for someone to react curiously to something that somebody else says. Instead of the game stopping the pace dead in its tracks to have you zoom in on the witness with like 30 FOV, which is low in case you don't know how FOV works. And then you have to scan the entire body while the statement is progressing. It just... Perceive is so bad. I love how the defense is always like, oh, but it's a great new addition. Yeah, you know what else is a great new addition? Not that. This is literally Perceive done a million times better, for God's sake. Like, oh, wow. Just poke more holes in Apollo Justice, sure. I'm down. I didn't think the game could get any worse, but yet here we are. Anyway, so I'm guessing you didn't actually observe something if you reacted negatively to that statement. Defendant, when you say Gramps, might you be, by any chance, referring to me? No, of course not, Your Honor. Mr. Wordsmith, are you listening?
I heard you quite clearly the first time, young man. These ears hear all, the crackling of the fire, the whispering of the crowd, and now your voice.
If that's the case, then allow me to ask you a question. You were clearly deep in thought just now. Do you have something to say about this man's testimony?
Indeed so, I felt something was amiss. However, what that means I cannot say.
Amiss? Witness, could you tell us what precisely was amiss with this third-rate testimony from this third-rate witness? What a burn, Barnum.
5 heads are better than 1. 10 eyeballs are better than 2. As I listened to this man's testimony, I could not help but become aware of something most odd. Tonight, when the crime occurred, we all made haste to that terrible scene. The delicious scent of mid-evening dinner permeated through the air, and the shadows of those present cast through the dim light. And yet there were but 4... Aha! So, if that's true...
then you see, Tom, we have ourselves a case, because if you only saw 4 people, and yet 5 people claim to have been there to witness the crime, then one of you, namely Kira, is a witch. 4? Oh, hold on 1 second. You're saying that there were only 4 witnesses to the crime scene tonight?
These eyes may be old, but they know what they saw.
Is something the matter, Miss Mary?
No, it's just that. Snowy and I are trying to remember what happened at the time. I remember the flames erupting into the air. That's when Snowy and I made our mad dash to see the precious milk. And when those 2 ruffians were set ablaze, the flame filled the area with light. In that sudden flash of light, we could see that there were other people around besides ourselves. And that's when I saw them, the other people that scrambled to the scene along with us. I'm quite sure of it. There were only 4 of us there at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Hold it, madam. What in blazes is going on? We have 5 witnesses on the stand, all claiming to have witnessed tonight's events firsthand. That means we have 1 witness too many! And I wonder who it is. Kira? Oh no, it's this guy.
Oi, you lot better stop speaking out of turn. All for one and one for all, remember? We all promised to take this witch down together, didn't we? It's not quite that simple. We saw what we saw. Well, I'd say it's all about the numbers. And I counted, I say. I'll have you know my counting is flawless.
That's 4. 4 witnesses. And that's Sesame Street reference.
4 witnesses, 5 witnesses, what difference can it make?
It makes all the difference in the world, Kira, also known as Miss Witch.
Things all started getting muddled when you showed up.
No, they were muddled before that.
What? You saying it's my fault? I was there, you fool. Didn't I just finish saying that? My testimony is strong as steel, even if it's not completely stainless.
Order, I said order. Oh, what is going on here? You claim the number of witnesses does not add up? I have never paid witness to such an outrageous conflict. Oh great, here comes Professor Layton to save the day. There is but one answer to this puzzle, a single possibility. Oh, what do you mean? Without a doubt, magic must have been used at the scene of the crime. Furthermore, it would indeed appear that there were only 4 witnesses present at the scene. And yet currently we are faced with 5 witnesses testifying to the court. That certainly is quite a fatal contradiction, with only one possible answer. Would you not agree, Mr. Wright? The answer, it can't be. Well, now with the supposed answer, Blue Knight. What is your explanation? One of them is a witch. While it might seem far-fetched, the reality is actually rather simple. The real witch and the real murderer in this case is actually one of these 5 witnesses. Wow. What? You're telling us that the witch is amongst this group of witnesses? There is one witch among us. What utter rubbish! There is no possible way that such a claim could be true.
That's right, you got a lot of nerve accusing us of being one witch. We have told you nothing but the truth, yet you still have the gall to bat around such an outrageous accusation? Behold, as my trusty shield deflects your petty words like the petty words that they are.
Mr. Barnum? Yes, my lord? I would like to see a sketch of the crime scene at the time of the incident. Do you have one in your possession? Yes, certainly, my lord, I have one here. I've requested it from the court illustrator just in case. Well, very well, witnesses. I would like each of you to mark your location at the time of the murder. Here on this crime scene sketch, quickly now. The number of witnesses doesn't add up. It looks like we're getting somewhere now, but we haven't even scratched the surface of this case yet. And it's all thanks to this top-hat-wearing gentleman, yeah. It's all thanks to this top-hat-wearing piece of shit named Layton. Do you see Maya there? Maya's like, you mean me, right? You mean me, right, right, Nick? I'm helping you, right? No, apparently not. Apparently it's all down to Professor Layton to save the day.
Don't you tip your hat at me.
Okay, Kira's up there. So I did not get a chance to look at that. This court accepts this crime scene sketch into evidence. Okay. If one of the witnesses is the witch, that can only mean one thing. Somebody here isn't telling the truth. That would indeed appear to be the case, Mr. Wright. Listen well, Sir Blue Knight. The path you tread now is a dangerous one. Claiming that a witch is among these most honorable witnesses is a serious accusation should prove to be a false one. You will find yourself at the other end of my sword, I make myself clear. Huh? But that wasn't so much my suggestion. I mean, the gentleman here with the lovely hat. Yes, please do it. Please take Layton as your victim instead. It is the same thing, Sir Blue Knight. Indeed, it is the same thing, Sir Vika. It is the same thing, Mr. Wright. Oh boy. That was a joke. Please laugh. Now, ready your sword. Ready? Were you listening? You claim the witch is not the accused and that someone else at the crime scene was the true culprit. If what you say is true, then surely you can tell the court exactly where this person was at the time of the crime, can you not? Well, yes, they would have to have been where Espella and the victims were. They obviously would have had to have been there because they would have had to be there to do the fire spell or whatever. That's basic logic. You don't need me to figure that out for you. So, Doughy Defender, show us where the that's not that. Obviously, they would have had to have been right here.
Got it.
That's not even logic. That's just, yeah, we all know that. I thought we already assumed. Okay. Whatever. The witch must have been standing here.
Objection.
What is the meaning of this? Unfortunately for you, that spot has absolutely nothing to do with any of these witnesses.
Objection.
Inquisitor Bonus tried taking a look at this. Apparently he forgot that there's a spell that turns you invisible. Apparently that's just something he just forgot. According to this tomb, Ignace summons a circle of flame within a 1 meter radius of the caster. Yeah, exactly. We already knew that. In other words, the witch had to have been within 1 meter of the flame when casting the spell.
Objection.
And there's a happens to be spell in that book that turns her invisible. Of course, you didn't say any more, so new Knight. First off, notice that there is no one else in this area. Yep, there's a spell that turns you invisible. It should also be quite obvious. There's a spell that turns you invisible. So now all I have to do is figure out which one of them is lying as to where they actually were standing. Which should be pretty easy. True, they're on your hiding spots, however. There was one other possibility if a witch wanted to stay hidden from sight. Most intriguing. Since you seem to have shown me evidence, prove it. How was the witch able to hide in plain sight? We have to go to the Grand Grimoire for this. Thanks to the spell known as Demir.
Take that.
This Talia Magica contains 2 magic gems. Ignace and one of the spell. That's right. The spell Demir. Demir? Oh, it cannot be. That's right. There was most certainly a witch present at the crime scene. Only they were completely invisible. All thanks to the magic spell Demir. You see, you can create stakes. You can create interesting stories and interesting mysteries and satisfying payoffs with magic. You just have to define the rules. You have to have clear rules. Then you can have stakes. Then you can have mysteries. But if you just say, higgledy-piggledy, Professor Layton can make a hang glider out of thin air, or higgledy-piggledy, the car flies now, there's no stakes. I thought the witch used Demir to make the Talia Magica disappear.
Objection.
According to the Grand Grimoire under the entry for Demir, it causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight, in other words. Supposing the witch were holding the staff in one hand while touching part of their body with the other, they would be able to make themselves disappear. Are you implying that is the reason for the conflicting number of witnesses? There's no other possibility. Indeed it is, which means witnesses. Someone amongst you is not disclosing the entire truth, and that person is the witch we seek. I believe this is the most probable scenario. Honorable witnesses, you will testify to the court one final time. Tell us exactly what you saw and what you did not see at the scene of the crime.
How absurdly absurd. The purpose of this trial is to convict that girl of the crime, is it not? That's right, we are not witches.
Witnesses, I ask that you listen. There is a witch mingling among you. That's right, I'm afraid you are all no longer brothers in arms. The true opponent here is within your own group. The real witch is one of these 5 witnesses, huh? Fine by me. Time to put an end to this trial. Without the help of Layton.
You wish to know where we were all standing tonight? It matters not. Would the flames not burn just the same?
That flame, I never saw anything like it. It quite literally left me speechless. I couldn't even so much as scream.
Yeah, okay. But speechless because you couldn't say anything, because otherwise it would reveal your presence because you were invisible.
I heard the tiniest cry, and then when I turned around, the blighters were roasting, so I rushed right over. I heard the incantation, and the flames suddenly erupted. I'm certain of it. I only saw 3 people there with us. As I said, there were only 3 others present, like that man there who was stumbling around like a newborn calf.
I'm gonna need you to be more specific with that one there, pal. Wordsmith has been the biggest problem so far because he just doesn't clarify anything. A most heinous act indeed. No small wonder these witnesses are so confused. A witch amongst the witnesses, what an utterly baseless claim. It's clearly not baseless. I've already shown you my evidence for making that theory. Okay. Cross-examination. here we go. What we saw and what we didn't see. Well, all I'm interested in is just going to where Wordsmith was vague as possible, as per the usual.
Hold it!
So, including yourself, there were a total of 4 witnesses of the crime scene, correct?
That is how it has come to pass.
By the way, what do you mean by stumbling around like a newborn calf?
Ah, yes, that was a man as inebriated as he was loud. That quite the humorous sight it was, I dare say.
He must mean the witness permanently glued to his cup of whatever it is he's drinking.
When I saw the flames rise up into the sky, I wondered to myself, my word, whatever could that be? However, I could not simply walk over to check. My knees were a bit weak from the shock, you see.
That's wait, we gotta check. Wait, someone. Aha! Hello, friend.
Run!
Is something the matter, mister? Mister!
Ah! Whoa, tone down the volume, Bluey.
That's my line. Sir Blue Knight, next time please think before trying to press this witness. Looks like this guy even managed to scare Barnum half to death. Now then, sir, about Mr. Wordsmith's testimony just now. He claimed you were stumbling around. What does he mean by that?
I'm gonna set the record straight right now. There's no way I was stumbling around anywhere. I like to think of it as more like staggering with style.
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
A responsible adult should know better than to go stumbling around in the dead of the night. Hey, look, I don't go stumbling around like some clumsy idiot. I got more sense than that. But anyway, I kinda tripped over a large stone. I mean, you notice how they see what's on the ground in front of you when you're running at full pelt, right? So, you could say I put me life on the line, prove that you really need to watch where you're going when you run.
Yeah, because that's what you needed to. That's something you needed to prove. How courageous of you! Someone give the guy a medal.
My lord, this testimony is a meaningless waste of everyone's time.
Defender, is there a point to this particular line of questioning? Is there anything worth pursuing here? What should I do? Yes. Why weren't you paying attention to where you were going? The witness stated earlier that he tripped over a large stone. Mister, I have one question for you. Why weren't you watching what was in front of you?
Well, to be honest with you, it ain't much of a real reason, but something suddenly caught my attention. Out of nowhere, I sort of heard someone call out my name.
You heard your name?
Of course, I turned around when I heard it. Who wouldn't? When a woman calls your name, you pay.
When a woman calls your name. When a woman calls your name, huh? Well, that narrows down our options significantly, so it's either Mary or Kira, and I bet you can guess which one it is from there. So, you heard someone call out, "Hey, you!" From behind, you mean?
What? I said they called out me name. How many guys you know who call, "Hey, you"? Me name is Emir.
Alright, prediction. We're calling it now. We're gonna call this one right now. Let's open up the map. Let's just confirm my theory. Yup, that's exactly what I thought. Okay, so, our friend here is actually called Emir. Now, what other word do we know that sounds incredibly similar to Emir? I don't know about you, but the name Emir sounds kind of similar to a spell we know called Demir. So, here's my theory. Kira, from behind Emir, says Demir and turns herself invisible, sprints past Emir, and goes to do the little fire spell, which causes the two victims to be killed. Now, of course, the problem which presents itself is, which by the way, that's already a contradiction with what she said earlier, because she said she was speechless, when obviously she was not speechless. So now the problem that presents itself is, but wait, she was actually there at the crime scene. How could she have been the witch if others saw her there? Well, I think I might know why. Because remember how earlier they said that she couldn't find her glasses and she clearly doesn't have them now? Well, I think what happened is she tried to search for her glasses, but she couldn't find them, and because she couldn't find them, the only way that she could have covered her tracks is obviously if they find her glasses at the crime scene and she wasn't there, the case is closed. So the only way she could have covered her tracks is to undo the invisibility spell, to appear at the crime scene along with all the other witnesses, so that she would have an excuse for her glasses to have been lost at the scene of the crime. And I guarantee you that if you're wondering, okay, but where would the glasses be? The one place that no one has checked since the start of this trial is inside the bucket of milk. Boom! How'd I do, everyone? How did we do? How'd our first trial of the game go? I guarantee you that's what happened. I guarantee freaking to you that's the way we're going here. And let's see if we can get somewhere. Okay, so my name's Emir.
I must say, this gentleman really does not strike me as an Emir.
You know, Professor, it's not a very memorable name, huh?
That's harsh. Honorable witnesses, is there anyone else among you who was aware of this man's name prior to now?
Not at all, he's always just been Mr. to me.
A knight's name is only as good as his name and the sword he carries. I mean, it doesn't really matter if none of you know his name. All that matters is that you need to know the name of the spell.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, it looks like absolutely no one knew the witness's name.
You know, ain't really much of a surprise to me either. Ha 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 ha. But seriously, I definitely heard someone call me name when you get to be me age. You really start to wonder when you'll find that true love, you know? I thought that pretty voice tonight must have been me sweetie.
Your Honor, I don't believe we should be so quick to label Mr. Amir's testimony meaningless. Would you not agree? I request that the witness add his amusing anecdote to his testimony.
Understood. Witness, amend your testimony, but please reflect only the important points of your story.
I'm telling you, I heard someone call me name and I was looking around trying to find him.
Yeah, you heard a woman call your name, and the only woman behind you was Kira, which is the final proof we need to seal the deal. So I need to hear you definitively say something, because this is enough. I need you to be more specific with this before I can point out a contradiction.
Hold it!
Excuse me, Amir.
Don't sweat it, Bluey. Mr. Hey you, it's all the same to me.
You say that you heard your name being called from behind. Are you absolutely sure about that?
Well, right or wrong, it sure sounded like me name. I mean, what else could it have been? I wouldn't have remembered it happening if I hadn't heard something, right? Still, maybe there's a chance I just imagined it, huh? Anyway, I remember it came from somewhere behind me.
From somewhere behind you?
Is something the matter, Mr. Wright?
Amir's memory isn't the most accurate, but if what he says is true, then there's definitely something there.
Something, you say? Might you mean a contradiction?
Yeah, I think so, although, I don't know, there's just something strange about his testimony. I don't see any slice of evidence in the court record that can help.
Do you mean to say you found a contradiction that cannot be supported by the evidence?
Objection!
My lord, this line of interrogation is a complete waste of the court's time. Defender, I must warn you from here on, any unnecessary questions will be dealt with accordingly.
If I don't answer correctly here, it's curtains for the trial and for a speller. If you are intent on finding a fault in this witness's testimony, you will need to present a slice of evidence to back up your claims. There's not one single piece of the slice of evidence in the court record. What do I do now? All we need to do is just get Kira to say anything. Just get Kira to say anything.
Mr. Wright,
Mr. Layton.
I have an idea. I believe there is a weapon of sorts with which you may be able to expose this contradiction without the need of evidence.
A weapon. Now, defender, give us your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The defense finds the witness's testimony contains a clear contradiction. Your Honor, the defense believes there is a huge contradiction in the witness's testimony.
Objection!
What is this? You must be an even bigger fool than I thought, Sir Blue Knight. You really do not possess even a sliver of common sense, do you?
You're one to talk.
If I may interrupt for just a moment, Inquisitor Barnum, allow me to ask you this. What need is there for common sense in a word that forgoes using it? Accordingly, I must humbly ask that you discard such a manner of thinking. You have my utmost thanks for your placing your trust in me, Mr. Wright.
I never did that. The game did that for me.
Let us discuss the one remaining weapon in this cross-examination.
The remaining weapon?
This trial has taught us a valuable new technique to be used in the courtroom, has it not?
You mean question? Yeah. Hey, I wonder who came up with that idea like a minute ago. Me. Just get Kira to say something. But of course, because it's this game, Professor Layton has to do everything, and Phoenix can't come up with any ideas by himself. Oh my god, this game. And Maya has said nothing all episode.
Indeed it is, Luke. Each of the witnesses in this trial has given their own account of what occurred. Therefore, whenever one witness has testified, the other remaining witnesses have listened. That gives me an idea. In addition to catching witnesses off guard and questioning them about another testimony, there's one more thing.
There's someone who else we can... Yes, thanks, I get it. Yes, I know, thanks, I got it. You don't need to spell it out for me. Good God, I know how this works.
Enough, Sir Blue Knight. Are you prepared to present to the court evidence proving the contradiction within the witness's testimony?
Yes, because Kira said she was speechless. The witness testimony does not contradict any evidence. It contradicts a testimony.
What are you talking about? It is time, Mr. Wright. Have a look at the touchscreen. There, you will see the testimony of those witnesses in question, as well as those of the other witnesses. Keep your eyes peeled and identify the contradicting testimony.
Oh, look! Oh, here she is, guys. She's speaking. She said 2 sentences.
All right, let's give us another shot, Nick. And make sure you don't forget to take a look at the court record too.
3 sentences. We're on a roll. That's a great record for this game so far. All right. So Kira said that she was speechless, which is interesting since she is the only one who could have called out his name.
Objection!
The person contradicting this man's testimony is none other than you, Miss Kira.
Are you both pointing at me?
At the time of the incident, that man heard someone's voice call his name.
That voice belonged to you, Miss Kira. It could not have been anyone else.
And yet in your testimony you stated that you were in such shock during tonight's events that you couldn't even speak.
This is a clear contradiction.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this, defender?
Can you really claim to trust the sham of a witness?
No, I'm trusting the area map.
Objection!
I'm trusting the map you gave us. That man's character is beside the point. His testimony is anything but a sham. As he watched his flames erupt, his attention was drawn to a voice behind him, which in turn made him fall over.
He heard a woman's voice calling his name. A very concrete reason enough to believe his testimony.
Objection!
If it is as you say, that explains why you feel the witness is somehow responsible.
That's right, why me? People barely hear me when I'm out selling my flowers. That's how soft my voice is. And besides, there was another woman at the scene, wasn't there?
Yeah, but you're the only one behind her. You were behind her. You were behind him. As I was saying, the only person that could have heard from behind him was you, Miss Kira.
The defense wishes to present evidence to prove this claim.
To accuse a witness like this young lady here, this is simply unheard of. I must warn you, defender, if you cannot prove your accusation to the court, you will see the underside of my gavel. Show us the evidence. Okay, it's the map. The map gives us everything we need. Take a look at this and you'll have your answer. This is the crime scene sketch. You can see the position of each witness during the crime. The only person that he could possibly have heard from behind him was none other than Miss Kira.
Objection!
Listen here, Sir Blue Knight, I will only tell you this one more time. A sham of a witness is only a sham of a testimony. That is all there is to it. Did you in fact see this flower girl's face?
You know, now that you mention it, seeing as I've fallen down and all, I don't think I saw her face.
Okay, but you heard her voice, right?
Let me think. That voice kind of came out of nowhere. It's kind of high-pitched. And I guess it kind of sounded like her, but I can't see whether that was this girl's voice.
And there you have it, Sir Blue Knight. Such a pity.
Huh?
My lord, it is clear that the defense's claim is nothing but a pointless waste of the court's time. I recommend you deliver unto them a penalty befitting such behavior.
Indeed, Inquisitor. Ready yourself, defender. What is that laughter?
Pardon me, my lord. It looks like you finally arrived at the decision. That means this has nothing to do with me. Isn't that right, Inquisitor Barnum?
What are you saying?
I'm saying it's time for me to stop peddling testimony and get back to peddling flowers. I mean, look at all these flowers left over. It's gonna take until sunrise to sell them all if I stay here any longer. Or maybe, my lord, you and the rest of the court would be interested in buying my entire stock of flowers to help a girl out?
No, I don't think,
Then it's settled, if you'll excuse me. My apologies for the
No, you're not going anywhere. No, you're not going anywhere.
Understood.
No.
Well, Miss Kira, it would seem you are beginning to show the court your true colors. Oh, whatever do you mean? Okay then, everyone. Look, it looks like that's that.
Hold it!
Wait, you can't leave yet. The cross-examination isn't over.
Now that's funny. You say it isn't over, and yet the rest of the court seems to think otherwise. Isn't that right, Inquisitor Barnum? The Inquisition maintains that the Riddler Witch is the accused of Spella Cantabella. This girl is nothing more than a witness. As such, the court cannot force her to stay against her will.
This is bad if you let her walk out now.
Nick, do you think she could be
The real witch.
You really like throwing around accusations, don't you, Sir Defender? Let me spell it out for you one last time so even you can understand. I didn't know this man's...
No, that's not what you said. That's not what you said. You said the spell name. Demir rhymes with his name. Now, where do you think you're going?
Hold it.
Oh, please let Layton be the one to point out this contradiction. Please let Layton save the day again.
One moment, please, Miss Kira. Is there something else you wanted?
You don't seem to realize what you just... Of course, it's Layton to be the one to save the day again, for God's sake. Hey, remember in the last chapter when Phoenix stepped in and solved all the puzzles for Layton? Oh wait, that didn't happen? Wow, golly gee whiz.
This man testified that he heard his name called at the crime scene, however. You had no knowledge of this other's name at the time, is that correct? That's right, this waiter was just imagining things. Like I said, I've already forgotten his name, even though he told it to us earlier. There is just one problem, Miss Kira. Namely, what the voice he heard tonight was actually saying. Huh?
What do you mean? That's obvious, it was a name, wasn't it? Now, what was that name again?
My lord, I'm still here, you know.
You're saying that what this man heard tonight wasn't the name, but rather something else entirely? Indeed, I am, Inquisitor Barnum. Something else. Aha! There's only one other thing it could be. It's a stretch, but the possibility is there. That's right, Mr. Wright. That single possibility is the key to solving this mystery. Don't you love it when characters who are perfectly capable of doing things on their own get sidelined because they want the new character to do everything for them? Like, this is actively pissing me off that they just sidelined Phoenix and Maya to let Layton take the spotlight. Like, come the hell on. I don't recall Phoenix stepping on Layton's toes and doing all the puzzles for him. That didn't happen, but once we get to Phoenix's session, it's just get thrown out the window to let Layton take the spotlight. Good God. Witness, what you are being accused of is not to be taken lightly. You will not leave this courtroom so long as any reasonable doubt remains. Defender, you may present your evidence. Show the court what this, we gotta go to the grand room for this. It's the spell right here.
Take that!
Excuse me, mister? I'm sorry, what's your name again? How can no one remember this? You got a name that no one seems to be able to remember for some reason.
Hey, it's Amir. My name's Amir, darn it. How many times have I gotta say it?
No matter the number of times you say it,
You do not look like an Amir.
again, I only remember my most loyal customer's names, and he doesn't look like he could afford even a single daisy.
Come on, guys, stop kicking the guy when he's down.
Mr. Amir, what you heard tonight at the crime scene was not your name. Your name just happens to sound exactly like a certain other name. Another name? The answer is... What? What he actually heard at the time wasn't his own name. It was the name of a magical entity. Here we go! Pursuit again! What the? This orchestral masterpiece. Miss Kira, have you forgotten what you just said just a minute ago? You quite clearly said you didn't know this man's name.
Objection!
Sir Blue Knight, let me get this straight. You're saying that the Amir heard by the witness was actually said by this flower girl, and that it was not his name at all, but rather the incantation of a magic spell? The defense proposes the following. The true criminal disposed of which is not the defendant missing Isabella Cantabella, but instead the witness who was heard uttering the magic incantation, Miss Kira, she's our witch! You used magic to vanish from the scene and tried to frame Miss Cantabella instead!
No! What just happened? Is this fella really not a witch? Oh, unbelievable, I've never heard anything like this. Inquisitor Barnum. Have those truly defeated Inquisitor Barnum?
Objection!
An impressive display, Sir Blue Knight. It would seem you have finally managed to hone your blade. However, I believe that blade's edge is already beginning to dull. What do you mean? I'm referring to a contradiction, actually. Hey, that's my line. My lord, the Inquisition would like to set the record straight regarding what transpired this evening. Very well, Inquisitor Barnum. Sir Blue Knight, you claim the following. At the time of the crime, the accused, Isabella Cantabella, was surrounded by the two rogues. Then, in order to frame the accused as a witch, Miss Kira cast a spell to mirror and made herself vanish. She then moved in closer to the victims, at which point she cast Ignace. That is causing the incident seen by witnesses tonight. Indeed, those seem to be the claim. The problem is what happened next. There is a contradiction in the defense's account of Miss Kira's movements. A contradiction in her movements? Allow me to continue. The witnesses have stated they each ventured out toward the crime scene. Which is when Miss Kira the witch made her way to the point while still invisible. When she used... Oh, okay, so a mirror. Oh, okay, so that's the inverse of. Okay, I was confused when Phoenix said a mirror. Okay, so so my logic was that she would have cast that to disappear and then go do the thing and then come back. But okay, so my logic still my logic still holds. I thought for a second that my logic would be shot because it was the inverse. But then I thought about it like, oh wait, no. So if it's just the inverse, then that my theory still applies. Because then it just means she appeared, and that's what she appeared there to establish some of the crimes that she couldn't find her glasses. It would make sense as to why she would have lost them. So, okay, so my logic still holds up then. And there you have it, that is accurate, isn't it, Sir Blue Knight? That's correct, then Mr. Amir heard her call his name. Well then, I have but one question I'd like you to answer. Why would a witch need to do such a thing? Because she couldn't find her glasses. She couldn't find her glasses, and she needed there to be a reason why she would have lost them at the crime scene, so she made herself reappear. What do you mean? Supposing Miss Kira were a witch, surely she would not have made the conscious decision to reappear when she did. One would imagine she would remain hidden at the flee of the crime scene.
Quite right, that's what I'd do if I was a witch.
Given that point, there would be no viable reason for her to recite the incantation, in other words. It is inconceivable that this flower seller, Miss Kira, could be a witch.
What?
What has happened? Is Kira really not a witch? Inquisitor Barnum just turned this entire trial right around. It's what I expect from Labyrinthia's sword of justice.
Wow, you changed your tune real quick. Yeah, she's definitely not a witch, guys. Definitely not a witch. Also, we've heard
That's right. You all heard it. It's just as inquisitive.
Definitely not a witch, guys.
Me, a witch. The idea is
That is definitely the face of a sane person. Not good. She's completely bounced back onto her feet.
Oh, we were so close, too. I can't believe Inquisitor Barnum. Can't he see it? You just have to take one good look at her. It's obvious she's the real witch here. Remember, Mr. Wright, at times like this, a cool head will prevail.
Mr. Layton.
I'm sure you have had to fight your way out of circumstances such as this many times before.
Yes, and yet for some reason, the game's making you do it all for me anyway.
The situation is no different. As a defense attorney, what would you usually do at such a time?
What I usually do? Of course. There's only one thing that can get me out of a situation like this. I've got to flip this case on its head and think outside the box.
It would seem the defense has nothing further to add.
Why, of course, that's because everyone knows the truth. They know that girl right there is the real witch. That tells it then. Go ahead and deliver your verdict, my lord.
Objection!
The situation is exactly as you described, Inquisitor Barnum. It really doesn't make much sense for which to have used a mirror. Regardless, the defense still maintains that Miss Kira did utter the incantation and make herself reappear. Now the question is, for what reason? If she really didn't have to use that spell, then why use it in the first place? If I can find the answer to that question, this entire case will start to unravel. Oh, it's been unraveling for quite a while now.
Most fascinating. Very well. Allow us to hear this theory of yours. Tell the court why it was necessary for the witch to reappear at the crime scene.
Well, we're still in the game. Once you eliminate the possible, the impossible, whatever remains, must be the truth. The reason Miss Kira reappeared at the scene of the crime was to cover up her crime. I can't think of any other possibility. This has to be the answer. Isn't it obvious? She was trying to cover up her own crime.
Oh, is that right? Tell me, why would she do that?
Well, just give me a minute. I'm getting to that part.
That will not be necessary, Sir Blue Knight.
Huh?
Think about it. What would she have to hide? If no one could have seen her to begin with.
You heard the good Inquisitor. No matter how you look at it, there'd be no reason for me to reappear. Assuming I was a criminal, that is.
I can't argue with her here. Don't you shake your head at me.
Pardon the interruption, but that's not necessarily the case.
Mr. Layton.
Explain yourself, Sir Top Hat. You have stated that Miss Kira had no reason to reappear. However, the situation changed and became necessary for her to show herself. Isn't that right, Miss Kira?
What are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean.
It would seem the defense was clarify their argument with evidence. Mr. White, I believe that Miss Kira did not intend to reveal herself at the crime scene. Rather, that something occurred which forced this young lady to make herself reappear.
What was so important that she had to reappear and risk being spotted? I love it when Layton just shows up to just save the day again. Every single goddamn time. She lost her glasses. Yeah, I already figured that out. Without the help of Layton, might I add. I didn't need Layton to walk me through it. Miss Kira, you usually wear glasses. Isn't that correct?
Huh? It's like I already told you. I lost my glasses a few days ago.
Are you absolutely sure about that? Or did you not, in fact, lose them tonight, during the crime?
Of course not.
Perhaps you accidentally dropped them while you were committing the crime. Then, as you were attempting to make your escape, you noticed they were gone. Therefore, you made yourself reappear.
Oh my, okay, this is the third time we've heard this track today, okay. Layton,
For the love of God, we don't need your help.
Objection!
How absurd, such baseless conjecture. What you propose is fundamentally flawed.
what do you mean?
Let us assume hypothetically that the witch did in fact drop this evidence. That does not explain what purpose it would serve for her to make herself reappear.
Yeah, what?
It would certainly make more sense for her to escape. No, because if anybody finds those glasses there, then she's going to be... The case is over if they find her glasses and she wasn't there to see the crime. Unfortunately, Mr. Bonham, such a never simply not possible. What? Mr. Wright, do you understand what I'm suggesting? Yes, he means the reason Miss Kira made herself reappear at the crime scene. Okay, this is it. Defender, enlighten us. Why did the witness really need to make herself reappear? Because she couldn't find her glasses. The answer is simple, Your Honor. She couldn't find her glasses. She could not find them, as evident by the fact that she's not wearing them right now. If you notice, if you know, she's still not wearing her glasses right now.
Objection!
Hold a moment, Sir Knight. What does that have to do with anything? That's right, it doesn't change a single thing.
Objection!
That's where you're wrong. In fact, it changes things quite a bit. Tonight, the two victims were engulfed by flames courtesy of a magic spell. That very instant, 4 witnesses saw the flames erupt at the scene. It was at that point that something you did not expect occurred. You suddenly lost your glasses. That's right, you were scared that if your glasses were discovered at the scene of the crime, you would be suspected of being a witch!
Objection!
What foolishness. Yet if her glasses were found, she could simply have explained that she dropped them their days before the crime happened. No, because there would be mud on them in that case. I'm afraid that is not a possibility, Inquisitor Barnum. What did you say? If you recall, it had been raining quite heavily at the crime scene beforehand. Had she seen that she dropped her glasses before the crime, then naturally, one would expect the glasses to be soaked in water and covered in mud. Further, the rain had already stopped at the time the crime itself was committed, in other words. One look at the pair of clean, dry glasses would reveal that she had dropped them later, thus implicating her as the witch. I should have known. I was perfecting my rainfall rending to begin the forest. And not once during the rainfall did I see that flower maiden traveling along the nearby path. That's not all. In order to frame Miss Canterville as the witch, you needed to leave this witch's scepter behind at the scene of the crime. I see. That'd be the most definitive evidence that she is the witch. The objective here was to have somebody else discover the stuff at the scene. Alas, that person was I. However, no doubt you came to realize that one can deduce which spells were used simply by examining the magic gems on the scepter. In this case, one can see that the witch must have used a mirror to vanish from sight and make you escape. That's why, Miss Kira, you were left with no option but to reappear at this crime scene. That was the only way for you to avoid suspicion if someone were to discover your glasses at the crime scene. By reappearing, you'd be able to explain that you simply dropped your glasses when you rushed to see what had happened. What do you have to say to that, Miss Kira?
You know, I've let you both ramble on and on, but playtime is over. So that's it, then? I'm a witch because I dropped my glasses? I must have said it how many times now? I lost my glasses days ago.
Oh, for God's
Were
sake.
you even listening?
Were you listening?
I'll say it again.
I'll say it again, too.
Over 1,000,000 times. I lost my glasses, I lost my glasses. Do you like evidence, Sir Defender? Do you love proof, Sir Top Hat? Then prove I dropped my glasses at the crime scene.
Okay, check the milk bucket.
Prove it.
Check the milk bucket.
In other words,
Check the milk bucket.
you lose.
You lose. Check the milk bucket, Kira.
Why is everybody stunned by this? That is correct. Proving such a thing. No, it would not. Just check the goddamn milk bucket. These glasses have been missing from the very beginning. The Knights of the Inquisition found no trace of these glasses anywhere near the crime scene. Therefore, this witness cannot in any way be accused of being a witch. You heard the man. But we were so close. The girl is a witch. Can't anyone else see that? I don't know how you can see. You can barely see over the freaking defense bench. Words are hard. Defense bench. What should we do, Professor? Oh, great. Let me guess. Layton's gonna be the one to once again save the day. It would seem the young lady has finished what she has to say. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Wright? Yes. It certainly looks that way, Mr. Layton. What's with that face? Did you find something funny here? It is as you said, Inquisitor Barnum. Explain. The defense raises just one further question. Why were you unable to find those glasses? What do you mean? You must have searched the area quite thoroughly looking for them. And yet, even now, the Knights have been unable to locate those glasses. Did you ever wonder why? Yes, that must have become quite the mystery. Surely they must be around somewhere. The glasses were lost to the wolves, there's no explanation. There is still one. Yeah, because that's what wolves love to eat. Glass. What'd you say? The glasses were supposedly not found at the crime scene, leaving only one other possible place. What is this, you two? How about you, Sir Blue Knight? Draw your blade and reveal to the cold where the glass is supposedly hiding. It looks like I've somehow managed to make it through my first witch trial. It all comes down to this, the final piece of evidence. Time to clear up this case once and for all. I leave the rest in your capable hands, Miss. Oh, don't even. Oh, you pieces of. Edgeworth said that exact same goddamn line in Trials and Tribulations. You do not get to rip that away from him. Good Christ, the piece of evidence pointing to. Yeah, it's the milk bucket. Obviously.
Take that!
Tonight, there was one thing that was carried away from the crime scene right under everyone's noses.
Carried away?
I am speaking, of course, about this. That's the milk bucket disappeared from the crime scene. Thus far, the defense's claim that the glasses were dropped at the crime scene has been regarded as mere speculation. However, if Miss Kira, we find your glasses within the context of this milk bucket, then all mere— this is the fourth time, wow, so this is way more than I thought it was gonna be. Then all mere speculation will suddenly become fact! I did not expect this music to play this much. What manner of witchery?
What are you talking about? You're just crazy. No way could my glasses be inside this milk bucket.
Well, then let's just check. How about we quit with the speculation and actually find out what he's saying, Inquisitor Barnum?
That'll just waste the court's time. Don't listen to them, don't.
It is mandated that the Knights of the Inquisition investigate any and all possibilities during the course of a trial. My lord, the Inquisition requested this milk bucket be searched immediately. Very well. Oh! What? Fifth time. Miss Kira, as you can see, your glasses have been found inside the milk bucket. The truth is out. Nothing you say can change that now. Which leads us to the next question. Specifically a question of when. When did you drop your glasses into the milk bucket?
Why is this happening? The whole thing's ridiculous. The answer's obvious, isn't it? I dropped them afterward, after I ran over to see the fire. I took a tiny peek inside the milk bucket, that's when they fell in.
Objection! Don't be stupid, child. Snowy and I were at the scene first. We made sure to take that milk bucket before anyone else could get their grubby little hands on it. We weren't going to let a single soul get anywhere near that sweet creamy bucket of deliciousness. You can bet my farm on that.
Each of those four witnesses has stated that they heard the spell Ignace being cast at the time of the incident. According to the Grand Grimoire, Ignace summons a circle of flame within a 1 meter radius of the caster. In other words, the real witch must have been at Miss Cantabella's side at the time of the incident. Indeed, that is when the glasses fell into the milk bucket. Therefore, there is only one logical conclusion. Only one person who could be the true witch.
Miss Kira, you are the real witch.
Okay then. What a very strange trial this has been. From the very beginning, we have all paid witness to a most unusual set of circumstances. A baker turned defender, a surprise extra witness, and now a not guilty verdict for the accused. Never have I seen such a spectacle.
Is this really happening? The girl inside the cage, you mean she's the real witch? But what about the Miss Cantabella girl?
Miss Kira, tell us why. Why were you trying to frame Miss Cantabella?
You could easily have escaped the crime scene without a trace. There was no reason to frame anyone. This crime was a result of nothing but your overwhelming ill intent.
To frame a person as a witch is to condemn that person to death by fire. Surely you must know this. So why Espella Cantabella?
Do you have any idea what it feels like to be a witch?
What it?
I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for these powers, but I have them. And now here I am, begging for my life. I was living such a peaceful life until now. Selling flowers, getting scolded by my boss for not selling enough of them. That's why I was trying to put an end to these trials once and for all.
Put an end to the trials.
You all know what I mean! The one condition written in the story that will end these witch trials!
When the great witch Bezella has been put to the flames and vanquished from this world, these trials will come to an end.
This was my chance to finally end all this. At least that's what I thought. The sun had begun to set on that lonely forest path, and there wasn't a soul in sight. I always carried my hidden Telea Magica with me in case of a moment like this. I used my magic to expose that girl for what she really is.
But she wasn't.
If I had been successful, then all these trials would finally end, and I could go on living my peaceful life.
So, okay, so you actually thought she was a witch. So, wait, okay, so why did you think she was the witch?
What? What are you saying? Am I hearing this correctly? Are you actually accusing Espella Cantabella?
After we just proved she's not a witch.
Why do you think no one has ever seen the legendary Great Witch? It's because she's been hidden in our midst the entire time.
That doesn't make it. That means nothing. That doesn't mean it's Espella.
She's protected. She's hidden from us. It's all part of the story.
Still no evidence that it's Espella.
Part of the story?
Objection!
What is going on?
That's enough! Speak no more. A witch's existence cannot be justified.
No, please. I know you've all noticed it too. You could end this. All of this. That girl. It's all because of that girl.
So just to be clear, you're defending your decision to murder 2 people violently by saying, well, if I did that, I could frame it on this person. Yeah. Why? What?
I beg you. Please. Please release me.
Like, you don't deserve to be burnt. Like, you don't deserve to be burned alive, for God's sake. But also, this motive. What the?
Knights of the Court. Isn't it your duty to protect the people of this town? Give me another chance.
That is where you're wrong. It is indeed a knight's duty to protect. We are impelled to protect the citizens of Labyrinthia against you and your ilk. The reason you were offered my protection until now was because your guilt was uncertain. There was the possibility that you were not a witch. The circumstances were such that it seemed another was guilty. That possibility has since disappeared, and your innocence along with it. You now find yourself at the other end of my sword.
No.
Vile witch, enemy of Labyrinthia, may the fires purge you from this land.
Hold it! Please, wait! Stop! Please, just stop this!
Espella!
If it means...
No, no one, no!
Horrible Let me take
No,
her
that's
place.
what.
Let me be Bezella. Send me to the flames.
That's wait, okay. What? Okay, so if the rule is that you have to, if the rules is like some mystery game where you have to find the ultra mega goddess witch thing, and you have to burn her in a fire, pretending to be her does nothing. It doesn't do anything. Pretending to be the person doesn't fix. You have to find the actual person. This isn't gonna do anything. None of this makes any sense.
But please, if it would save her life.
This trial has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this flower seller, Kira, is a witch.
Like, to be perfectly clear here, she doesn't deserve to be burned alive, for God's sake. But concurrently, her motive, like, she's still a terrible person. And her motive for doing it is, oh, I killed 2 people so that I could frame her for a crime which had yet to be committed because I wanted to make people think she was the... What?
And according to the law, all those found to be witches will be executed.
Did he say executed? He can't mean...
You already saw this happen, Phoenix, at the beginning of the trial.
This is most unsettling.
Bailiffs, ready the fire.
No!
No! Don't do this!
What?
Huh? Listen to me! Don't let her fool you! Espella is the Great Witch! Hear me! There's no time to waste! She's Bezella! Take her! And then these witch trolls will be no more! The witch trolls will end!
That's not true. What is this game? What am I playing? I don't even, that's just, This game is something else. So far, we've always managed to pull off a winning and a not guilty verdict, but winning has never felt this depressing. Oh, Espella, you alright?
Yes, I just want to thank all of you. You all came to my rescue yet again.
Well, yeah, of course we did.
Hold it a second, fella. What did you just say just now? You all came to my rescue yet again. You don't mean... Yes, I remember everything. I remember the last trial. I suppose that makes this the second time we've met and the second time all of you have helped me.
Mr. Wright, am I to infer that you and Espella have met before?
Yeah, it seems that way. You too, Mr. Layton?
Perhaps it would be best if we briefed each other on what has transpired.
Okay, what should we discuss? I guess what happened in London?
Espella paid us a visit in London. She had in her possession a letter from an old acquaintance of mine.
Is that right?
Mr. Accidenti happened to drive Espella straight out of Labyrinthia. You both kept me safe from the witches that were chasing me. Wait, did you say witches? So they appeared in London too?
I am unable to say that our protection was absolute. When we saw you last, it seemed you'd managed to escape courtesy of that harassing freighter.
Oh yeah, that's right. What happened to you after that, Espella? I rode the ship along the river for a while before arriving in a nearby port. And then... that's when I met Mr. Wright and Maya.
Okay, then what should we discuss? What happened on the ship?
I didn't know where the ship would end up. I felt very lonely out there.
Please accept my sincerest apologies. I'm afraid there was nothing else I could do to prevent it.
No, please don't blame yourself, Mr. Layton. I just didn't know what to do, so I tried to look for something, anything on the ship that might help me. Boy, you sure found something, alright? Or rather, someone. You ran into a master thief working as part of a ship's crew. Yes, that's right. Did you say master thief? Crikey, that's amazing!
I wouldn't exactly say it was amazing.
After that, I was taking the cord, and that's when Mr. Wright helped me.
I see. Then perhaps somewhere deep within your mind must have existed a memory of that previous trial under Mr. Wright. Hence why you thought to seek out his help when you found yourself in such an unfortunate situation this evening.
That makes sense. After all, Nick did make legal history that day in jolly old London. Did you say he made history? Wow, that's incredible, right, Professor?
I wouldn't exactly say I made history.
But then after that, I was never able to find my way back to the Professor. Even after all I went through the pains of finding that clue, it ended up being taken away from me.
A clue, you say?
Yes, the tag that was hanging around the neck of that sweet little stuffed toy.
That tag was a clue? A clue for what? Okay, so what should we discuss? I guess the stuffed toy's tag.
I had a lot of time to think while I was on that ship. I thought about a lot of things, like how to try and find a way back once the ship arrived at its destination, things like that. Find a way back? All the way back to Mr. Layton and Luke. They were the only ones I knew I could depend on to help me.
The pleasure was ours, Espella.
But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't remember the name of the town where they lived. Huh? You mean London, Espella? Oh, that's it, London.
Excuse me.
That's what was written in Carmine's letter to Mr. Layton. The blue teddy bear I found in that room was wearing a blue tag around its neck.
Sorry, Espella, but PC Badger looks nothing like a teddy bear.
On the tag, in very small letters, was written London. I recognized the name of the town. I thought it might be an address.
That's because the stuffed toy was used in a special promotion run by the London Metropolitan Police.
Oh, that's right! Espella, you must have known that address was super important, so that's why you kept the tag, right? That way you could meet up with Mr. Layton and Luke again. I just felt so lonely and helpless. I wonder though, who do you think really did it? Hit Olivia over the head with a pipe, I mean.
What's this?
Oh yeah, I guess we never did find out who the real culprit was.
I do believe that may have some connection to this group of witches.
What? You mean the witches that were chasing us through London?
Indeed, it could be that they noticed your escape onto that ship and managed to infiltrate their way aboard.
Could it be? So, you're saying there was some big scary witch lurking around the inside of that cargo hold?
I'm afraid there is a rather high possibility that was the case. Those witches were intent on seeing you brought back to Labyrinth no matter what. However, in order to do so, they had to make certain you did not become entangled in any situation that may stall your capture.
Ah, in other words, the situation with Miss Al Dente, you mean?
Precisely. They must have knocked that crew member unconscious and attempted to recapture Spella before the police could arrive. However, their plan was clearly foiled given that you ended up in court regardless.
And that's when she became my client.
I just can't clearly remember anything that happened back then.
Do you think there's a possibility that someone was pulling a spell of strings for the entire trial?
Hey, maybe you're right. There was something strange about Spell at the time.
I don't know how you're only now just putting this together.
Mr. Wright, Spella was introduced to you at the time as a schoolgirl, is that correct?
Yes.
she would have had no knowledge of the real Untitled Labyrinthia. That being the case, having her stranded in an English quarter she would pose as a serious problem. Meaning that someone must have been attempting to cover up Spella's identity. What? But Professor, could someone really do that? That they could indeed, Luke. And if it is as I suspect, I believe our adversaries may be far more powerful than we originally thought. Just exactly who or what are we dealing with here? Hey guys, let's head back to the bakery for now. I bet the boss is waiting for us with one heck of a pastry feast. Oh, actually I can't go home just yet. Huh? You can't? Aww. Well, there's still a couple of legal procedures to be taken care of before I can go home. Please, you all go on ahead without me. Is that so? Very well. I really must thank you all. Thank you so much for everything. Alrighty then, Estella, we'll catch you later. Yes. Farewell, for now. Mr. Wright, please allow me the pleasure of a proper introduction. My name is Professor Layton. I'm a professor of archaeology in London. A professor, huh? Well, my name is Phoenix Wright, and I'm an attorney. As I suspected, you were no ordinary baker after all, Mr. Wright. Yeah, I thought I was pretty weird myself, to be honest. I mean, I really did believe I've been a baker for all my life, but the more everyone kept saying it, the less sure I was it was actually true. Just where did that memory come from, anyway? Hey, Professor! Mr. Wright is an attorney. That must mean he's as smart as you, right? Haha, I'm afraid I can't really say, Luke. Oh, don't even try. Don't even try, Layton. But behind every ace attorney is an even smarter, not to mention beautiful, witty, and utterly amazing ace assistant that got to do nothing this trial because of frickin' Layton. I think you also forgot humble. My name's Luke Triton, I'm the Professor's apprentice. I'm Maya Fey, and Nick here is my apprentice. Isn't that right, Nicky boy? Okay, Desiree. Nicky boy, hey wait, why am I your apprentice? Anyway, we should all head back to the bakery. Let's get a move on. I'm sure Spella will be back before we know it. I will not get your hopes up about that, Sir Blue Knight. Inquisitor Barnum. Most impressive work tonight. It's a shame you have kept such ability hidden until now. Trust me, Nick's lawyer abilities beat the pants off his baking abilities any day of the week. Okay, moving on. What do you mean by that, Inquisitor? Why can't a Speller go home? You tried to— Oh, you can't be serious! What? Maya looks like he got some competition this time. So who gets accused of bullshit the most? You have realized it, haven't you? She's being charged under suspicion of being the Great Witch Bazella. She what? So how can that be? Am I to assume that child is based purely on Miss Kiva's accusation? Just like Among Us. Say random things and eventually one of them will be true. It was not who made the decision, huh? Regardless, the girl will return to court at the appointed time for further trial. Until then, I'm to seek out any and all evidence pertaining to the Great Witch. Pardon me, Inquisitor. When exactly is this appointed time? Let me guess, tomorrow. The investigation into this allegation will conclude on the day of the storyteller's next parade. That would be 2 weeks from today. Wow, that's the most amount of time that we've had to investigate anything. Following our investigations into the matter, the trial of the Great Witch shall proceed. What the— It would appear the girl has been withholding a dark secret from you all. Espella. Espella Cantabella's questioning is set to begin shortly. That means visiting hours are over. I recommend you leave immediately. Well, that's lovely. Espella, the legendary Great Witch Bazella. The story that dictates the fate of an entire town, and now a so-called Great Witch named Bazella. Most intriguing. It would seem to be up to us to uncover the answers to these mysteries. But how are we supposed to manage it all in 2 weeks? Where are we going to find any evidence? You know, I was thinking, how do you address a Great Witch? Hail to thee, O magnificent magical one! Maybe just, what's up, witchy baby? Never say that one. What difference would it make? She's called a Great Witch. That's not someone I'd ever want to meet. I believe I've thought of a solution to our problem. It's actually rather simple. Professor Layton? Allow me to explain, Mr. Wright. The only way we may be able to solve the mysteries of this town and its residents is if we join forces. You mean you didn't do that today? He's right. We've come this far, there's no way we're just gonna give up on Espella. Okay, I'm on board. I look forward to teaming up with you, Professor. Me too, Luke. Me too, Maya. Now then, shall we press on? This marks the beginning of our own story. One dictated by ourselves and written by our own hands. Okay, so on the one hand, story, super intriguing. What little chemistry there was at the end between Maya and Phoenix, phenomenal. The core mystery, introducing it, outstanding as always. But you know what really sucks? When Layton just strolls in like, I am better than you, and I will do everything for you because you are an incompetent attorney who cannot do anything for himself. I really hate Layton now. Like, already he's just like, okay, great, you can just do everything, why do I care? Now I actually actively hate this man, because he's like, oh, Phoenix Wright, and a competent attorney who can stand on his own, is like, no, we gotta make way for Professor Layton. Whatever, that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next Attach Roll. Tomorrow, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright's attorney. Goodbye.